Yes, English is a barrier for international Java jobs, but you can overcome it. So English is a common barrier if you want an international Java job, and it's difficult to overcome that because it requires the right strategy and consistency to be good with English. And throughout my journey, I learned some techniques that will help you to learn English faster and to make English more fluent, more natural. So when you are in a Java international interview, you're going to feel more confident. You're going to do better in this interview. So let's see here some of the topics that will help you to have this fluency. And English will help you not only in your Java career, but when you travel or when you're going to read documentation or the newest Java books, they will be in English. So it's mandatory to learn English nowadays. Even if you don't want an international job, it's very important that you know English, at least to read documentation. But anyway, this video is for you who wants to get a Java international job. So let's see here and why it matters, because global tech communication happens in English. So the English language is also the global language. Therefore, you need to get used to it. And you might work in a multinational company where you have to contact international customers. And if you don't know English well, by joining international job, sometimes you might misinterpret requirements, or you might not understand the feedback of the customers because you're struggling with English. And if you don't have good English skills, you're gonna also struggle to get a remote global job. And if you don't know English very well, it's gonna be also very difficult to collaborate in a global team, for example. And you're gonna miss job opportunities because if you don't know English, you won't even be able to pass in the screening interview. And the second point here is about recognizing common communication challenges. So you need to practice your writing skills. And how can you do that? One of the ways to practice writing skills is by writing articles. You can write articles or you can write short posts on LinkedIn, and that will help you to gain some visibility. You can write about some experience, some problem you solved in your job, some difficult technical problem, and you can share this knowledge in English on LinkedIn, and that will help you to gain visibility. And who knows, a recruiter might even reach out to you. And you have to improve your listening skills as well. And how can you do that? You can improve your listening skills by, for example, watching your favorite series, or for example, what I do, I listen to audiobooks, and that's an excellent technique because you can listen to an audiobook while you go to the gym, or while you do something that doesn't require you a lot of brain power, you know? And it's important also that you watch technical courses in English because that's a way to understand what are the technical jargons so that when you are working on an international company, you already know the words, you're already comfortable with the words. So that's a good technique as well. And for reading, you can practice on reading documentation. So on point two, let's talk about some challenges we have with English in our day-to-day jobs. So the first one is about writing. So if your writing skills are not that good, you're going to create unclear commit message, or the PR descriptions will be kind of messy, emails as well. I know that nowadays there is AI and you can ask AI to create the whole text for you, but even still, you can't delegate the whole work to AI. You have to review, you have to understand about English. Otherwise, your writing won't be clear, even using AI. And for the listening challenges, it's very hard to work in international job when you are struggling with listening because you're going to have to talk with stakeholders and you have to understand what they're saying. And sometimes you might miss a technical requirement or a business requirement. And then you might introduce a bug in the task you are working on. Also, when you're doing a course in English, you might struggle with the technical jargon, and that might harm your learning. And if you're not that good at reading, you're going to struggle to read documentation from the software you're working with, and you're going to struggle to speak. You're going to hesitate to speak in English. You're going to have this fear of being judged. You're going to lack vocabulary. And if you need to explain the architecture of your project in English, it's going to be also very difficult. So if you don't work on those 4 core skills in English, it's going to be a lot harder for you to work an international job. And how can you be more confident with English more quickly? So learn English from technical contexts. So for example, you can study in English by studying framework and the library documentation. And then when you're studying the framework documentation, you can ask AI to translate it, and you can identify what are the idiomatic expressions. And if you don't know what's an idiomatic expression, it's, for example, when you say break the ice. Break the ice means to start a conversation in a tense or situation. So, or if you say bite the bullet, it means that you're going to do something difficult. Because sometimes the literal translation will be totally different. So if you ask AI, probably AI will identify those idiomatic expressions, and those are good things to learn. It will make you better with English, and it will also help you to learn more about the framework. Code as a bridge. So when you write clean code, you're going to be also practicing your English skills because you're going to write code in English. And a way to write clean code is to communicate well. So if you write in English in a way that's simple to understand, you are basically practicing your English skills. And when you do code reviews, pair programming, or mentoring using English, that's also a good way to leverage your English technical vocabulary. And number 4, practical strategies to improve English. So let's see here. And those are some practices that I still use, and you can do daily practice. So what can you do? So for example, if you are studying something, if you are solving an algorithm, it could be anything. You could talk to yourself in English. So speak English daily, even to yourself, and you can narrate what you're doing. So for example, if you're cooking something, you can narrate, oh, now I got the egg, and I'm breaking the egg, and now I'm gonna fry the egg. So you can narrate what you're doing so that you force yourself to practice English. And it's very important that you change your device, change your laptop, change your computer, change your phone to English, change your IDE, because then the more you get in touch with English, the more natural it will become for you. And even when you take notes, write everything in English, write your personal notes in English, commit messages in English, and to-dos also in English. And the second thing is very important is a listening immersion. It's important that you listen to audiobooks and podcasts, and preferably I would recommend you to listen personal development books. And the podcast, there are some good English podcasts about Java. There is AirHacks. And you can search on the internet. I have an article that I created about those podcasts, and those are great to practice your English skills and also to know more about tech. And you can also watch your favorite series and replay some scenes that you like, that you fully understand the pronunciation, so that you fully understand what's being said as well. And if you want, you can also combine the listening with reading, because then it's double learning. And make English part of your life. So if you consume a lot of content in your native language, try changing the content you consume to English instead. So you can watch movies, YouTube Tech Talks, conference sessions, everything in English. And also try to think in English when you're coding, designing, or when you're coding, or when you are planning something. And switch social media feeds and news sources to English. So if you're consuming a lot of information in your native language on social medias, like consume information in English so that you keep learning English. Engage in conversation, join English-speaking developer communities or language exchange platforms. This is excellent. You can usually find those language exchange platforms on the Meetup website, and I'm going to recommend you as well to join Java communities. And there are also some platforms you can use. So I never used this one personally, but I had a look at this tool and it seems very good. And basically you can practice with people all over the world, with native speakers. You might struggle a bit to have quality conversation. That's a con from this platform. And this Tandem tool is a more consistent and structured tool for conversations, and that's something you can use as well. Discord and Reddit. So if you are a gamer, for example, you can join a Discord community and you can speak in English with people, and that to improve your English skills. And it can go even better than that. You can join a Java community on Discord that everyone speaks in English. It would be great as well. And if you have friends who speak in English or who wants to learn English, have a one-on-one call with them and practice speaking in English. Doing an English course is also very good. I highly recommend English Live. I used that for many years and it's great because they have a whole platform to practice general English, to practice business English, technical English. You can practice grammar, you can practice writing, listening, and speaking. You can also have a private class with teachers all over the world. It's a great platform and it has a good price as well. And you can do this free course, English for Career Development. So this course will help you to advance your career, to write a resume, to do interviews, and to send emails. And there is this course as well on Udemy, Tech English for Developers, so that it helps you with the basic vocabulary when you are on your daily work. And another technique that's very powerful to help you with your English skills is to write LinkedIn posts in English. So it could be anything that you learned, any situation, any challenge you overcame in your job, and you can explain how you did that. So you write in English and basically you explain what you did. And if you do that in English, a recruiter might reach out to you. And even more powerful than that is to really write an article in English. So you write an article in English and you're going to get visibility and you're going to get access to the best companies. And when you write English, it's more likely that a recruiter will reach out to you. And number 5, interview and workspace strategies. So for interviews, how can you get prepared? So you can write questions and answers in English, and you can write how it's going to be your explanation in English so that you practice. And once you write them, you can read them out loud. And you can go even further. If you want to refine and explain it even better, you can use AI, obviously, after you wrote your own explanation. And then you read the text that was refined with AI, because then you're going to use the right grammar. You're going to use basically the refined version of your answer. And practice mock interviews with colleagues of yours, and so that you get better and better for an interview. And don't rush, because it's going to be a process. And basically what you need to focus on the consistency of your plan and keep moving forward. And on the job, you can summarize meetings or tasks briefly in English to confirm understanding. So for example, if someone told you something to you that is not clear, you can ask for feedback. You can summarize what was said to confirm if you understood it correctly. And also document key technical decisions. So when a key technical decision is made, write it down. Write it down, explain this process, and ask clarifying questions without fear. Because if you don't ask, you might pass the impression that you understood everything or you understood nothing. Communication is always two-way. So if the person told you something and you don't understand, it's better that you ask. You ask clarifying questions. Otherwise, if you don't understand what was said, you might create a bug or you might struggle to solve your tasks. And regarding cultural awareness, it's important that you define your own tone of voice as well. So the more you learn English, the more important it is to create kind of your personality when you're speaking in English. It's important to adapt your personality to your tone of voice. But what you don't want is to have this monotone voice when you always speak in the same tone. People get bored, people might sleep when you're talking. So that's why it's important to use the tone of voice. Regarding tools and resources, so I use a lot Grammarly. Grammarly is very useful when I'm writing articles or when I'm writing posts. There is also DeepL, right? And ELSA Speak. Or you can use ChatGPT. You can basically ask to refine your text. And for listening resources, I personally like Audible. For audiobooks, you can find any book you want there. So it's a lot of wisdom. So I like, for example, to listen to audiobooks while I go to the gym or while I'm walking or commuting to work. So for me, it's an excellent way to maintain my English practicing and also to learn new things and to get better in general. And for learning platforms, there is Coursera, EDX Communication. So like I said, there is this good course here from Coursera, English for Career Development. And you can do this course and you can see if you like it or not. Another way to improve your English skills is by participating on open source communities. And that's a great way to practice your English because, you're going to get involved with other Java developers. That will help you technically, and that will also help you to gain visibility because if you contribute, for example, to Jakarta EE or Quarkus or Spring, imagine your LinkedIn profile and your CV will become a lot more powerful because if you contribute to open source projects, you're going to be on the top 5% of developers because I can tell you, 95% of developers don't contribute to open source projects. They don't share their knowledge. They don't go the extra mile. So if you do that, besides learning English and getting better with English, you're going to also stand out as a developer and you're going to attract the best job opportunities. So that's great. Okay, and who are the real examples who achieved success in a career, an international career? So myself, for example, came to Ireland in 2017 and I was studying English consistently. I came here, I got involved in the Java community, and that helped me a lot because I was speaking in English. I was improving my listening skills. I was improving my speaking skills. So that helped me a lot to become better with English faster. And it helped me to get a job here as well. And I can also show you, and there are some real examples here from mentees of mine who got better with English. There is my mentee, Wellington Franco, for example, who got better in his English skills. And he got a job abroad as an intermediate Java developer, and he was able to multiply his salary by 7. And that wouldn't be possible if he wasn't improving his English skills. For example, Pedro as well also worked on his English, and his English is very good nowadays. He got an 80% raise in salary because he's working for an international company. And there are many other examples here. There's also my mentee Leticia. She got a job in ThoughtWorks and had an increase in her salary of 25%. So learning English is extremely important. And if I got it, and if my mentees also improve their English skills, you can also improve your English skills. And if you want to learn faster and grow faster to get an international job, I will leave a link in the description and you can fill out to get a one-on-one career diagnosis session with me. Totally free. And adopt the growth mindset because English is a skill and it's going to take some time until you master it. So you have to be patient because it's going to take time. But if you adopt all of those techniques, you're going to learn and accelerate your learning. You're going to learn English a lot faster. And celebrate small progress. If you have success, Don't forget to celebrate, because if you don't celebrate success, it seems that you didn't achieve anything. So create this habit. Every time you have a small achievement, celebrate that. The thing is that you already conquered Java. That's very difficult to master, right? So English is going to be like mastering another framework. So you can do it, definitely. Just a matter of focus and consistency. And create a personalized action plan. So get to know what is your biggest weakness when you're communicating in English. So what is it? It's listening? Is it speaking? What is the thing that is your biggest weakness? And set achievable language goals. Like you can host a demo in English. So you can create a small talk that you're going to demo something in English and spend at least 30 minutes. I would say, like, if you can spend more, obviously it's better, but at least 30 minutes combining coding and English listening. And it's important that you don't code while you're listening to an audiobook, because otherwise it's too much to process. Because when you're coding, you need concentration, you need focus. So, like, to practice English, it's important that you assess what is your weakest communication area so that you work more specifically in that area. So, for example, if you know that you're not very good with listening, you do more listening exercises. Or if you know that you're struggling with writing, start writing articles, write LinkedIn posts so that you improve this specific area. And you can also set achievable language goals. So, for example, once you are more comfortable with your English skills, you can give a lightning talk. Like you can do a quick demo of 5 minutes in English and spend at least 20 to 30 minutes daily listening, writing, speaking in English. If you can hire a private teacher, and depending on your English level, do more classes, like do 2, 3 classes a week, and track milestones, because you can only improve what you measure. So if you can measure your English level, you get motivated to improve. But if you're not measuring that at all, then you have no idea what's your progress. So that's pretty much it. You have to understand that you need to have a good English level to pass an international Java job interview. It doesn't mean that your English has to be perfect. You just need to be good enough to communicate, to listen and speak during interview, and also to understand what is being said. And I highly recommend you to be consistent on whatever works for you to learn English. So if you prefer to go to a language exchange platform, go for it. If you prefer having a private teacher, it's actually what I recommend, because it's very important that you have direct feedback from a teacher, because you're going to make lots of mistakes and a teacher will tell you right away what were your mistakes. So the important thing here, the takeaway, is that you are consistent on your English learning and you don't give up, because it's going to be a journey. And also keep in mind that your English doesn't need to be perfect to pass an international job interview. Create a plan that works for you. If your English is good enough to communicate, go for the international interviews, okay? So that's pretty much it, Java Challenger. And like I said, I'm going to leave the link of the free career diagnosis sessions in the description of this video. And if you want to have a free conversation with me, I have few slots available, and I'm looking forward to talk to you so that I can identify what are your biggest gaps to get your international job and growing your career. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.